Hi guys, my name is Sarah. I'm a mindset mastery coach, attachment style specialist, and transformational hypnotherapist. In today's video, I want to talk for a moment about when a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant partner, when they withhold intimacy or affection. This is more of a DA power move than an FA power move, but if an FA is leaning dismissive avoidant, then they can absolutely, it can absolutely manifest in these actions and choices. So I want to talk about when this happens, what this causes within you, like this kind of emotional deprivation and starvation in this environment, and how this may have affected you. Because I know it affected me, and it sort of was a source of shame for me as a woman, like being in this situation where the man was withholding intimacy and sex and affection, because usually it's the other way around. So I want to talk about that in particular if you're a woman, but if you're a man watching, you likely have experienced this too if you've been with an avoidant partner. So keep on watching and stay tuned. If you'd like a personal 15-minute discovery call with me, there's a link below, as well as a link to my website where you can check out a little bit more about me and what I offer. And stay tuned, guys, because I have so much coming up in the next few months. Courses, online courses, live courses, and I also just opened and launched my Patreon, where there's bonus and exclusive content, a community there, as well as written posts, which I love, love, love the written word. And I'm including worksheets and workbooks and all of those things. So join me there. I'd love to see you there. So when an avoidant partner, when they sort of extricate themselves from offering intimacy, or maybe they move out of the shared bedroom, or maybe they even talk about wanting to have separate houses if you're living together or married, but they start to retract their energy and their love that they once gave freely, that's not just neglect. This is abandonment. And this is a form of emotional and relational control. This needs to be addressed. I'm getting real serious, guys, in these videos, because I'm having epiphanies and realizations on my own journey as I work with clients, as I continue my healing journey, because I believe we're always a work in progress. I will never be healed. I will never be perfect. I will always be striving to do better, be better, and understand more why I am the way I am, why I have my cycles and patterns. When a partner is withholding intimacy, especially if you've expressed how much that matters to you, which I know many of you have, like, this is so important to me to feel connected to you in this way. This isn't just a lack of libido or stress or ED or I have a headache. It's a power move, hands down. What you experienced was a form of emotional neglect, okay? And emotional relational control. So whether this is conscious or unconscious, doesn't really matter. I don't care, because it still causes pain and it still needs to be addressed. So in the context of a dismissive avoidant partner, it's a pattern. When closeness, when intimacy is uncomfortable, when it triggers their, attachment system to basically go offline, they punish connection by withholding it. And it can be so subtly manipulative. Because it can come off as, I have a headache, I'm tired, I'm just not in the mood, XYZ. Oh, work's been really busy, or, we're fighting a lot. Well, why are we fighting a lot? Chances are you're fighting a lot because you have unmet needs in that relationship. You're trying to express your needs and your DA partner cannot meet them. So you're frustrated and things happen and words get flung around, right? Or actions get done. So that's probably what's going on, but they might use that as an excuse to stop intimacy and closeness. This is how they maintain emotional control. And let's say that your partner is like, I want to sleep in the other room, knowing that you have an abandonment wound. Let's say you're anxious, ambivalent attachment, or even fearful avoidant, or maybe even secure. And you're like, I want to sleep next to my partner. That's why I got married. That's why I'm in a relationship. That's why I moved in with you. When they're doing that, knowing full well that you're triggered and it makes you feel abandoned, that's not just insensitive, that's an act of cruelty. Let that be said. You were vulnerable with them. You expressed, hey, I have a wound around this, a big gaping wound that I was hoping you as my partner could help me heal, because that's what you do in a healthy, secure partnership. It's not perfect, but you help each other heal. And instead of tending to that garden with care, they twisted the knife. They made it worse. So what does this kind of emotional environment create? Well, you start begging for scraps of attention. You internalize their rejection as a reflection of your self-worth, which makes you feel horrible. You begin to feel like you're needy or too much or not enough or not attractive, etc., etc. And eventually you may snap like I did. You'll say things, horrific things maybe, especially if you're fearful avoidant. You've been betrayed. Your partner has betrayed you. Things that you would have never said or done in peace might be done in the aftermath of this kind of neglect and this kind of control. But that's not abuse. That's a survival response to a slow, silent erosion of your emotional identity and your capacity to be held. So here's the thing. When someone knows you have wounds, they know you carry these abandonment wounds, these rejection wounds, and it is your job to heal them, absolutely. But it is the job of the partner, the responsibility, to not make them worse, to not pour salt onto the gaping open wound. When they poke you, and this is a way of poking you by maintaining control, by withdrawing of intimacy, affection, they keep you emotionally starved, they keep you sexually starved or affection starved. That's not love. That's a form of emotional abandonment or emotional cruelty, depending on the severity of it. You were in pain in this situation because you were being neglected. Your needs were actively being neglected by somebody who said, you know what? My avoidance, my dismissive avoidance is more important than their need to be met and seen and heard and understood and loved and held. And you got angry because you were being systematically dismissed. Dismissive avoidant, systematic dismissiveness over time, eroding your sense of self, eroding your identity, your sexual identity, your physical identity, right? Your identity as a man or a woman, wanting to be cherished and valued, wanting to be adored, wanting to, like you want your partner to, you want to feel like they're attracted to you, right? So if you were emotionally reactive, you are still responsible for your actions. But I'm trying to give you an understanding of why you might have been emotionally reactive to this. You were being deeply, deeply unloved. That's like, I can't say anything more about it. I can't even be more clear. You were desperate to be seen. You were desperate to be met where you were at. And you were doing your best to make a relationship work with someone who kept the door to connection absolutely sealed shut. That's why, I've said it before, guys, and I'll say it again. That's why in a relationship with a dismissive avoidant, as I was leaving my marriage, I said, I tried everything to break down your wall. I didn't know about attachment styles. I didn't know I was fearful avoidant. I didn't know that he was dismissive avoidant. I just knew something was deeply wrong, and I was really confused. And I said, you've got this wall that's like, 30 feet deep, tall, wide, long. It's armor, it's protection. No one can get past it. I couldn't. I think I made a dent in the armor is what I was told by friends and family. But I couldn't get past it. I was never going to get past it. They don't want you to get past it. That's where they feel safe. You're not allowed to enter. It's painful AF. Because when you have to see it this clearly, like I'm doing, when you have to really see it for what it is and not for what you wanted it to be or what you hoped it could be, finally facing just how much it may have cost you, your sense of self-worth, right? The invalidation on a daily basis, by every other day basis, whatever, monthly basis. You probably were drowning in silence or shame, in rejection and abandonment, being emotionally starved, being, sexually, physically starved, whatever, all of the above. And still trying to break through that armor, still like throwing the rocks, like, all right, I've got a weapon this time, we're gonna get through that armor, not being able to get through the armor. And now your heart is finally catching up with your mind. And that's what's happening in the healing process, is you're like, oh, this is real, this really happened, this was really bad. And I was never really safe in that love. That wasn't a safe love, that wasn't a safe space. And even as I say that now, I feel that in my solar plexus because it's the truth. Yes, women need to create safety within themselves. However, the partner can nurture that sense of safety for the woman. In fact, a good, stable, loyal, loving partner, a secure partner, that's absolutely what they would do. I see that you have these fears. I see that you have these wounds. and these triggers, and I never want to trigger those for you. And if I do, we're going to work through it together. But I'm going to do my best not to trigger those wounds. It's not, oh, you told me your triggers, let me go now walk all over them. Let me go throw salt in those wounds and see how you can handle that. And then step back and tell you it's your fault because you're too needy, or you're too sensitive, or you're too this, or you're too that. And then when you feel unloved or unattractive or undesirable because of my actions, I'm just gonna go, well, we fight all the time. And you're gonna go, well, yeah, we fight all the time because anything I say, you take as an attack. Because a DA is always in defense mode. One of the 4 horsemen, according to the Gottmans, gold standard in couples therapy. I mean, seriously, yeah, if your partner is always defensive and you can't bring anything up, then absolutely there's going to be issues. You're going to be arguing, you're going to be fighting. Because again, you have unmet needs, and then you end up walking on eggshells. There's nothing attractive about walking on eggshells, right? This doesn't foster and build a sense of intimacy. But what matters is that you're honoring your truth now. You're here, you're waking up to the truth, and you're remembering who the F you are beyond what they couldn't give you. So I just wanted to create this video for those that felt unseen, undesired, unlovable, rejected, abandoned, all of those things in these relationships. This is deep, this is real, and it happens every day. And we don't talk about it because there's shame or because we were made to stay silent. But I'm not staying silent anymore because the truth is the truth. And also, shame doesn't like to be spoken. That's what Brene Brown says, right? Shame researcher. So therefore, speak your truth, and that shame, speak your shame, share your shame, and that shame will dissipate. That black cloud will just become nothingness. Shame can't exist in a shared space. I'm sending you guys all love and healing and beautiful golden healing light just to envelop you and cover you. This is hard work that we're doing on these journeys. This is not easy, okay? It's learning to sit with yourself and learning to be with yourself and not seeking external validation. And being honest with yourself. Yeah, I sought external validation in relationships, in men and women, in sex, whatever it is, food, money, career endeavors, satisfaction, accolades, whatever, all of the above. And just saying, but now I'm learning to sit with myself and to be with myself and see what that feels like. It's gonna feel weird, it's gonna feel painful, it's gonna feel like, when to crawl out of your own skin. Keep working at it, like flex that muscle. Keep getting comfortable being with yourself. Keep choosing yourself. Showing up every day. I see you, and I'm right there with you. Take care.